Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt the mood change, even before anyone said a word? Have you ever replayed a conversation for hours, analyzing every pause, every glance, every tiny shift in tone? Do you notice things other people seem completely blind to? Subtle tensions, hidden motives, the emotions behind someone's smile. If so, you may be highly self-aware and deeply perceptive. And while that can feel like a gift, it can also become exhausting. Because sometimes being too aware means you don't just observe life, you absorb it. You notice everything. You think deeply. You feel intensely. And often, you carry more than most people realize. Today, we're exploring the psychology of people who are too aware, why they think the way they do, why they often feel overwhelmed, and how this extraordinary sensitivity can become both a superpower and a burden.
Being highly aware isn't just about intelligence. It's about heightened perception. These are the people who notice the slight hesitation before someone answers, the subtle change in body language, the difference between what someone says and what they actually mean. They are often emotionally perceptive, introspective, and mentally alert. Their minds are constantly processing information, both external and internal. They don't just hear words, they analyze intention. They don't just see behavior, they look for patterns. They don't just feel emotions, they investigate them. Psychologists often link this trait to high emotional intelligence, deep introspection, and in some cases, heightened sensory processing sensitivity. But awareness becomes too much when observation turns into overanalysis, when empathy becomes emotional overload, and when insight becomes a source of anxiety rather than clarity.
The human brain is designed to detect patterns, but highly aware people take this to another level. Their minds are constantly connecting dots, sometimes so quickly that they see outcomes before others even recognize the problem. This can make them excellent at reading people, predicting behavior, and understanding complex emotional dynamics. But there's a downside, because when your brain is always scanning for meaning, it rarely rests. A simple text message can become a puzzle. A brief silence can feel loaded with significance. A small change in someone's tone can trigger a cascade of interpretations. This is partly due to a phenomenon called hypervigilance, an enhanced state of sensory sensitivity, often developed through experience, especially in environments where emotional unpredictability was common. For some, awareness was not just a trait, it was a survival skill. They learned early that noticing subtle cues could help them stay safe, avoid conflict, or anticipate emotional shifts in others.
Being deeply aware can be mentally exhausting. While others may move through life without overthinking every interaction, highly aware people often carry an invisible cognitive load others miss. And because they understand multiple perspectives, making decisions can become surprisingly difficult. They can see every angle, every possible consequence, every potential misunderstanding. This often leads to analysis paralysis. The mind becomes so focused on evaluating possibilities that taking action feels overwhelming. And emotionally, they may struggle with boundaries. Because when you can deeply sense what others are feeling, it's easy to absorb emotions that were never yours to carry.
One of the most overlooked challenges of being highly aware is loneliness. Not because these individuals are antisocial, but because they often feel misunderstood. They may crave depth in a world that often rewards superficiality. Small talk can feel draining. Surface-level relationships can feel unsatisfying. And being told they're thinking too much can feel deeply invalidating. They don't overthink because they want to.
They overthink because their minds naturally operate at a deeper level. Many highly aware people also struggle to find others who process the world with the same intensity. As a result, they may feel isolated, even when surrounded by people. It's possible to be deeply connected socially and still feel intellectually or emotionally alone.
But here's the important part. Being highly aware is not a flaw. In fact, some of the world's most insightful thinkers, creators, therapists, and leaders share this trait. Highly aware people often possess remarkable qualities: deep empathy, strong intuition, excellent problem-solving abilities, creativity and originality, emotional intelligence, the ability to understand complex human behavior. They often see what others overlook. They ask questions others avoid. They recognize patterns before they become obvious. Their awareness allows them to connect deeply, think critically, and navigate human complexity with unusual precision. When balanced, this trait becomes an extraordinary advantage.
If you recognize yourself in this, the goal isn't to become less aware. The goal is to manage your awareness so it serves you instead of exhausting you. First, learn to distinguish observation from responsibility. Just because you notice someone's pain doesn't mean it's your job to fix it. Second, practice mental boundaries. Not every thought deserves analysis. Not every emotion you sense belongs to you. Not every silence needs interpretation. Third, give your mind places to rest. Journaling, mindfulness, nature, and creative expression can help process the constant flow of information. And finally, seek relationships where depth is welcomed, not dismissed. The right people won't tell you you're too much. They'll appreciate how deeply you see.
Being too aware can feel like carrying a magnifying glass in a world that prefers blurry vision. You notice what others miss. You feel what others ignore. You understand layers that many never even realize exist. Yes, that can be exhausting, but it can also be beautiful. Because awareness, when guided with wisdom, becomes insight. Insight becomes compassion, and compassion becomes one of the most powerful forces a human being can possess. So if you've ever been told that you think too much, feel too deeply, or notice too much, remember this. Your awareness is not your weakness. It's your gift. The challenge is not to silence it. The challenge is to learn how to carry it well. And once you do, it can become one of your greatest strengths.